Hi everybody, thanks for coming back. I recently flew out of Portland on my way to Phoenix and I saw Mount Hood out the airplane window. Now if you fly in and out of Portland with any regularity, you'll see a pretty nice close-up of Mount Hood either coming or going, providing the wonderful northwest weather is cooperating. On my trip, I saw a lot of the Cascade volcanoes. I saw Shasta and Lassen and Mount Mazama, Crater Lake, and some of the other Cascade volcanoes. So GIS Nerd said, well, let's try making a fly-through of all these Cascade volcanoes. So fly-throughs are not all that well documented in ESRI literature. So here's a few tips and tricks and just a cool video. So check it out. I'll put a link to the video just itself alone down in the description. And what you're seeing here is as a teaser of that very video. So check it out and enjoy. This is Carto-Madness. Okay, let's start with a copy of ArcPRO. And first thing I did is I just went and made a global scene here, and just with like image, Firefly image on top of it, and a couple of simple feature classes, the transportation, so I could get the freeways, the highways, and I just added my own little feature class called label points, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and start our animation. And first thing, let's bump up the elevation surface a little bit, some vertical exaggeration of 1.5, so we can get a pretty good, yeah, that's pretty good. It's not too crazy looking and looks fairly reasonable. So let's go ahead and zoom it back out here. And this is Portland, Vancouver areas. We start with a lot of our projects here, since that's where I live. So let's go ahead and start our animation. And first thing we need to do is just zoom out to our first keyframe. Now keyframes, I think of keyframes like the hoops that we jump our camera through. So here's the Cascades mountain range in the western US, where all the Cascade volcanoes live, obviously. So let's go ahead and start our animation. Click the animation tab on create our first keyframe, just click it. And that's our first hoop that we're going to jump through. Now we can zoom in to a little closer, not all the way. And so let's go ahead, that's about a good one. Just add another one there. And same thing. Zoom in, and we're getting up close to Mount Lassen. We're getting close. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Yeah. And put another hoop we're going to jump through. Another keyframe. Let's put right about there. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. And let's fly our camera over Lassen. Add another keyframe there. And we're going to go next up to Mount Shasta, Northern California. Where's Shasta? Oh, there it is. There's Shasta. Okay. So let's zoom into there. And how do we want to fly past Shasta? Let's start about there. Add our keyframe camera hoop. And let's go ahead and add one more just as we fly over the top. There's one. And then our next one, let's go ahead and go up to Southern Oregon to Crater Lake, which is the subject of, I think we've done a couple videos on Crater Lake. It's one of my favorite places, so why not, right? And here's Crater Lake, which of course is also known as Mount Mazama, and is a volcano in the Cascade Range. And there's more over here. Let's see, there's some over there, but let's go ahead. They're minor. So here's the Three Sisters over by Bend, Oregon, kind of Central Oregon. There's Three Sisters. It's a pretty cool mountain range. So let's go ahead and add a keyframe hoop there. Now let's fly right between them, right between those peaks right there. So that's nice close option there. Okay, great. And now we keep going north. There's a keyframe there. Because if you just do mountain to mountain, it's going to fly between them really fast. So let's put that last keyframe between, And now we're going to go ahead and zoom in to here. And this is Jefferson, also in Central Oregon. Like that. And fly over the top of Jefferson. Beautiful. And now let's go up to Mount Hood, right there on the Columbia River. Another keyframe as we fly to Mount Hood. And at this point, let's go ahead and do a draft. So we can do a draft because making all these videos with this many keyframes takes a long time. So in this case, let's just use a draft and say, we can say, it's a small, see, if we do 15 keyframes per second, or frames per second, it's a pretty small file. So we'll go ahead and set that to go, 676-ish frames. And through the, see, you can see it's going to be 10 minutes or so. So through video editing, we're going to go ahead and jump to the end, like this. And we'll go ahead and play the video, or draft video. Now you can see it's not very sharp and it's kind of jerky, but if we run through it, you know, you can see, okay, we fly by Lassen, pretty great. And the Mount Shasta, and here's Crater Lake. And see if the fly through is pretty good. And here's where we fly, right between the peaks. And we could even get lower than that if we wanted, but that's pretty good. And over here to Jefferson. And our last one in the demo here is Mount Hood is up there. So, okay, so that's great. So let's go ahead. We like it. So let's make a YouTube style video out of it. And now we have 30 frames per second. And we go ahead, export that, and now we have 1500, I think, ish. So there's a lot there. So this is a long process. So again, edit all that out, and we'll go ahead and play the high-res video. Look at that, a lot better. So you know, there's Lassen. Great. And now we have Shasta. And it looks pretty good now that we've got more frames per second and higher resolution. Three Sisters, that's a really beautiful mountain. Three mountains, I guess, maybe four even. Okay, Adams. And we're done with our kind of demo part of it. So that's great, but really, let's go back to our keyframe and let's add some context here. So if we right click here and go to animation properties and overlays, this is where we can add all of this kind of stuff. And in this case, let's use text, and we'll call it Tour of the Cascade Volcanoes. And let's go ahead and highlight that so we can change it to my favorite font, Ren and Stimpy, and change the size a little bit. Yeah, that's a little too small, so let's change it back to a little bit bigger, 50. Yeah, okay, great. And this is where we can set things. So our start key and our end keyframe, we'll say 3 keyframes there. And that's where we edit all of the, in this case, overlays. So you can see we click through them and there it disappears. So it's visible for the first 3 keyframes and then it goes away. So now we go to that label points feature class, and it's just simple. It's a point feature class with a field for the name of each one. So we'll go ahead and add a label point here. And those attributes, and add the attributes in this case. Mount Adams, or Mount Lassen. And there it is, which is great. However, let's go ahead and look at the properties of that. And right here, layer, you can say, here's our label points layer that we want to. This is where all of the good stuff happens. You can change transparency, vertical exaggeration, Z offset, all kinds of things. But in this case, we're just going to say visible. And that's not very well documented anywhere. So you can turn those on and off in specific keyframes. So you just select the next one and let's say that's visible as well. And the next one, it's Mount Shasta. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. And I'll speed these up because it's really repetitive, but go ahead and turn the visibility on for a couple of keyframes. And we'll do the same thing. Add a point. Same thing, all sped up for your viewing pleasure. Let's add, this is Three Sisters. There it is. And just adding visibility. And do our, of course, incremental saves along the way, adding things. Now, we'll go ahead and add, or try our video again. Let's export that. And 1 hour later, magically, we can play our video. So now we have labels, and the Mount Lassen turns on, and it faces the camera all the time. Kind of 3D-ish, kind of fake 3D. I don't know. There's Mount Shasta, and we'll fly through all of the. There's Crater Lake. Through all of the. Most of the volcanoes. And there we go. We have a video. So as promised, here is a full video of a fly-through of all of the Cascade volcanoes. Now this publish was about 3 hours long. So it definitely takes some time, but it's definitely worth it, I think. So thanks for checking it out, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.